Let's just read this part, John O'Donohue, before I go back to the section, The Color of Beauty. The rose is red because it rejects red. John O'Donohue was awarded a PhD in philosophical theology from the University of Tübingen in 1990. He is the author of several works, including a book on the philosophy of Hegel, Person als Vermittlung, 2 collections of poetry, Echoes of Memory and Connemara Blues, and 2 international bestsellers, Anam Cara and Eternal Echoes. He lectures and holds workshops in Europe and America, and is researching a book on the philosophical mysticism of Meister Eckhart. He lives in Ireland. And this was from, that was before he left his body. 2004 was the year this was published. I forget what year it was that John O'Donohue checked out. It wasn't too long after this, I believe. 2004, a long time ago already. Relatively speaking, of course. One day in his room, a young Isaac Newton was experimenting with light. He placed a prism against the light ray coming through his window and noticed how the prism split the white light into its constituent colors. The genius of his intuition inspired him to place a second prism upside down in the path of the diverse colors. In that moment, the colors coalesced again into a seamless white light. Newton concluded that color is generated by subjective perception and vision. For Aristotle, light awakened color. For the medieval mind, light was the vehicle of color, but for Newton, light is color. And light is life. The rose is red because it rejects red. The rose is red because it rejects red. Color has always intrigued me, and in researching this book, I found great delight in learning about color, what it actually is and how it comes about. We need to sketch in some simple physics in order to illuminate this. Color is not a cloak worn by an object. Each color is generated and shows the vulnerability of an object, its being seenness. One of the great illusions of human vision is that there is stillness. Yet what seems still to our eyes is in fact never still. The whole physical world is in a state of permanent vibration and change. Each object is constantly astir. The physical world is an electromagnetic field. Each thing is deftly aflow in the play of energy, namely electromagnetic waves. The waves flow in different frequencies. Our eyes only pick up a small section of this vibrating wave world. This is what we call visible light. What we see in light. Yet what we see is always partial, a selection from the full spectrum of what is there but not visible to us. There is a real world of invisible light here around us, but we cannot see it. Though we feel at home and sure in the visible world, it is in truth a limited place. Visible light comprises only 1/10 of the whole light spectrum. When we see the whole flow of visible light together, it is white. Different colors arise when certain wavelengths are filleted from the spectrum. Color is always the result of subtraction from whiteness, and not the singular, lonely choice of outer garment by an object. Each object is already pulsing, to a certain frequency, and the hunger or
Mozart's most explosive and moody pieces. That's the 40th Symphony with the Prague Chamber Orchestra and Charles Mackerras. It is 9:38. Good morning. I'm Kathy Fuller. It's a rainy day. It's going to be a rainy day all day long. And you just need your raincoat. It's warm, though. We're heading up to 52 degrees today, down to 46 tonight. And looking for a partly sunny, breezy day tomorrow, heading up to 50. Coming up, I've got music by Chopin with Garrick Olson right after this. I'm Kathy Fuller.
And I'm Tony Riddell.
New Year's Eve is a special night.
And for every champagne toast and every nostalgic look back, there's a fabulous piece of music.
We have chosen 3 hours of our favorites to share with you. Join us at 9 o'clock on New Year's Eve, and we'll finish out the year together.
Only here on 99.5 WCRB, Classical Radio Boston.
WCRB programs exist because of you. And Subaru of New England, featuring symmetrical all-wheel drive. With seating for up to 8 passengers, the all-new 3-row 2019 Subaru Ascent is committed to keeping your loved ones safe on snowy roads. SubaruofNewEngland.com.
When your day gets crazy, go classical. All day and all night, WCRB has the music that'll transform the way you experience the world. 99.5 WCRB, Classical Radio Boston.
And here's Garrick Olson with Chopin's Grande Valse Brillante.
Each object is already pulsing to a certain frequency, and the hunger or generosity of this frequency determines how much color an object absorbs. Each bird, stone, tree, wave, and face is sistered to sunlight in an individual way. Each thing comes alive in the sun. How a stone vibrates to the sun is how it absorbs the light's energy at that frequency, and the rhythm of the frequency is the key to its color. This frequency fillets out a specific color from the spectrum of light, and this then becomes the color of the object. For centuries, a granite rock might lie in the corner of a field, perfectly still, dressed in shore color. This is what the eye sees, yet what the eye cannot see are the secret vibrations and continuous interchange that underlie and indeed create this still colored image. Color is never dead or neutral. It issues from individual secret frequencies. What is the spectrum of color? It is the reservoir, the broad band of color that is always present. But the human eye can never behold the whole visual/non-visual range of that spectrum. In this sense, each object is an abbreviation. Its individual frequency absorbs one color from the spectrum, while the other colors are still present but remain unseen. This is why there is transparency. When the rays of light do not correspond with the individual pulse of an object, the object reflects the light, but we never actually notice or see the light rays which pass through. It is the light rays which the object resists and will not let in that return and reach our eyes. The very there-ness of a flower or a stone is an act of resistance to light, and color is the fruit of that resistance. The colors we cannot see are the ones that the object absorbs. The color it rejects, ironically, the one in which we see is ironically the one in the color it rejects is ironically the one in which we see it dressed. For instance, a rose absorbs yellow and blue and it rejects red. So we see a rose as red. A daffodil absorbs blue and red, but rejects yellow, and yet it is this yellow we see. While the object resists the light, the object is also penetrated by the light. The activity that gives an object its color has all the play and excitement of lovemaking. Yet much remains hidden in the solitude of the object, where the unseen colors continue to dwell. If an object could get up and look at itself in a mirror, it would undoubtedly be surprised at its public countenance. In all probability, this is not how it would see itself. The mirror would offer no glimpse of the inner colors, which have no need of the outside eye. They continue to live concealed within the object. The eye is the destination of color. When we come to glimpse how color arises, we begin to understand what a rich symbolic world color suggests. Color is not simply a surface pigment or covering. The very heart of an object glows through its color, and color is always reaching towards us. Without our eyes, there is no color. All color is color reflected from an object towards us, and the eye is the secret destination of color. What happens between the granite stone and the sun is read by the brain and the eye as color. We could say then that it belongs to the psychic grandeur of the human heart, that it is fashioned to behold the world in the vitality, warmth, and wonder of color. We are creatures fashioned to behold color because the soul loves beauty. Plato stated this elegantly in the Phaedrus. He suggests that our present love of beauty is an awakened echo of our earlier life in the eternal world. There we knew beauty because we lived in her grace. Quote, "But of beauty, I repeat again, that we saw her there shining."
Olson, Chopin's Gone Valse in E flat. He has recorded every little tiny bit of Chopin. He is 6'4" tall, so when he walks onto the stage, you have this weird impression that the piano shrinks when he sits down. His hands are huge, but with all, it's counterintuitive, but with all that bulk and all that weight, he produces the most beautiful pianissimo quiet sound. Garrick Olson. It's 9:45, and you're listening to WCRB. Lots of great things coming up. Copeland's Red Pony Suite is coming up at 10:13. That is such American-sounding music. And a horse of a whole different color. It's the prelude to the afternoon of a faun, the mythical creature as created by Debussy in a dream state. That's Leonard Bernstein. It's coming up at 10:56. And right now, the Philharmonia Baroque Orchestra and Nicholas McGeegan.
Here's the Plato quote. "But of beauty, I repeat again that we saw her there shining in company with the celestial forms, and coming to earth, we find her here too, shining in clearness through the clearest aperture of sense. But this is the privilege of beauty, that being the loveliest, she is also the most palpable to sight." Unquote. The beauty of color is an intricate play of presence and absence. As we have seen, a color is never alone, for each reflected color arises through the interplay of other hidden colors which we do not see. After the perished paleness of winter, the sight of a field of new spring grass is pleasing in its hope and urgency. Yet such a field of breathing greenness is the achievement of chlorophyll, which has breathed in the red and blue of the sunlight to reflect and release green. Color is always a dance where the vital partners are invisible. Indeed, one could legitimately speak of the music of color. A soprano can break a wine glass. If her note happens to hit the natural vibrational note of the glass, and in a sense, this is the way that color too is released. When a ray of light hits the natural vibrational note of an object, it alters the vibration. It becomes absorbed itself in this alteration, and what is reflected outwards is the object's color.